payment freeze on student loans through September.
But that's not good enough for Comrade Cortez, who tweeted this. Said, okay, now let's cancel them.
Here to react is Campus Reform Fellow Angela Morabito. Angela, thanks for joining us this morning. Obviously, you look at this, and there's so many things that I think of. First of all, let's look at the stats. U.S. student debt, $1.5 trillion, is held by 42.9 million Americans. So that's a pretty big number. But when I hear about this, I always think of, well, what about all the people that worked 2 and 3 and 4 jobs to pay off their own student debt? What about them? What kind of message does this send to everyone else who wouldn't be forgiven?
You're so right. When AOC talks about canceling student debt, she doesn't mean canceling the debt. The schools, the colleges and universities are still getting paid. She's not talking about canceling the debt. She's talking about nationalizing it and having people who didn't go to those schools, who already paid off their loans, who maybe chose not to go to college or chose to go in state, worked a job or 2 or 3 to get through school, or maybe earned an associate's degree. She's talking about penalizing those people and facilitating what's really a massive transfer of wealth from people who, never took those classes, didn't earn those degrees, to people who did.
Angela, let me just see if I follow the logic, because I think you're spot on here. We know that the price of college has been outpacing the rise in inflation. It's getting so expensive to go to college. Part of that is because there's so much government loan and grant programs that allow colleges to keep jacking up their prices. So what you're saying is, they do that. Then on top of that, they forgive the debt or put it into the national coffers, where the taxpayer who didn't go to college or continues to have to pay. It's this churn where college bureaucrats and people like that are the ones that really benefit, right, as they continue to get more money.
Absolutely. And when colleges know that they have a constant stream of funding from the government, those costs are going to keep climbing up, right, and the value is going to go down, because all of a sudden colleges will not be accountable to their students, to their graduates, to their alumni. They're going to be working with one customer, and that customer is the federal government. It cuts students out of the equation.
Yeah, it's a massive leap from freezing, temporarily suspending paybacks to canceling them. What's the answer to the question that Will just posed, this idea of ever spiraling costs and no accountability for higher education? How do you get that back under control without canceling debt?
Well, it's time for transparency and accountability in higher education. And right now, there's more information out there than ever before that students and families who want to do their research to make an informed decision about what to study, where to study it, maybe how much student loan debt they'd be willing to take out for a certain credential at a certain school. All of that information is readily available to them. There are also billions of dollars in scholarship funding that go out every single year to students. So a great student who works hard and really wants to dedicate themselves to their studies can go wherever they want in America and come out with a level of student loan debt that's manageable and therefore temporary. Student debt does not have to be a forever thing.
Yeah, just quickly, what do you think the likelihood is that something like this would pass? And what is your perception of public opinion on it? Do you think most people support it, or most people have concerns about it?
Absolutely. Most people are not going to support this. I don't believe Democrats have the authority to do it. And if by some ability that they do, they're never going to win an election again, because 2/3 of American adults do not have a college degree, and all of a sudden they're going to be paying for the 1/3 of Americans who do.
Yeah, and everyone who paid their loans, they're just suckers.
Absolutely. Or any loan for that matter. Car, house, college.
Suspend them all.
Yeah.
All right, Angela, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Angela.
Thanks, Angela.
All right, up next.